It's month 3 of HR Fridays. For the past 2 months, we looked at health, and in last month, we looked at career. And for this month, we've been looking at interviews before, during, and after. And just as we did last month, this month, I have a very special guest who happens to be a personal friend, a mentor, advisor, comedian, and many other things. Join me as I welcome Kathy. Kathy Gita is a HR manager, supply chain, Coca-Cola Beverages Africa. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Robbie.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for accepting to do this.
My pleasure.
This is my little blog.
Okay.
My tagline is "You're the CEO of you."
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do is teach different people out there how to, quote unquote, be an employee, because everybody teaches you how to get the job, but no one really teaches you how to be an employee. So I'm just trying to explain to people that everything that they do is really on them.
Yeah.
The success they're going to get, the milestones they're going to hit, the achievements, is really about us.
Yeah.
So this past month we've been looking at interviews.
Yes.
And one of the reasons why I chose you is 3/4 of the times I call you, you say, I'm in an interview, I'll call you back. I'm in an interview, I'll call you back. So I figured, what better person? And also the level of respect I have for you with the past experience you have in human resource. So I figured that you'd be the best person to come and speak about interviews.
Thank you.
Just a brief, for the past month I've been speaking about before, during, and after interviews. So I think this time we shall highlight mainly before and the during. But just to break the ice, do you have a bad interview experience?
Of course. Of course. I think I won't mention the company, but the worst interview experience I had is, first, the panel was really big, and then there was a lot of interruption. Like while you're trying to answer or respond to one panelist, others are coming in to ask questions, and at one point I got confused. I didn't know what to do, and in my mind I wanted the interview to end. I won't mention the company, but I would never work for that company again. Panel was big, and then interruptions, and at one point there was lack of clarity. You know, you've heard of double questions. Someone asks you 2 questions in one, and you're struggling to think of which one to answer, and then another panelist is asking, and I'm thinking where I'm coming from. Things are really streamlined, and I was still a young girl at that time. So that was my worst.
I've had a bad interview experience. I actually wrote about it earlier. The first interview I ever did was in Essex vacation. And when I went for the interview, no one had ever told me what to do before an interview. So I was interviewing for a receptionist in a company in Ginger. But the person interviewing me was Muslim. I think he was called Abdallah or Abdul or something. So in the middle of the interview, he asked me, no, my mom called actually. And you know, a mother should call to check on you and see how the interview is doing. So I picked up the phone and I literally went, oh, mommy, I'm still in the interview. Yes, I'm with the MD. I'll call you back later. And I hung up. And for me, I didn't think it was a problem.
Oh my God.
So in the middle of the interview, he asked me, so what do you like? Then I speak about a certain animal that I love so much, and that if I would go into farming, it would be piggery.
I can imagine.
I know. He's never called me up to today. I think he wishes me hell. So anyway, interviews are very interesting yet tricky. How would you advise someone to best prepare for an interview? Like, let's talk about the before. What should I do before I go for an interview?
I think what's critical before you go for an interview, and I'm talking to all the young girls and boys out there, what's very critical is for you to first and foremost know the company you're going to, probably work for, or the interview you're going for. It's important for you to know something about them, what they do, what their products are, where they are located. If it's an international organization, where the head office is, just something small about that company. Because if you want to work for me, then you've got to know something about me.
Just about dress code. Thinking out loud. Does the company where you're going to work determine how you should present yourself for an interview? For example, if I'm going to do an interview with, say, a farm or a forestry company,
that's an interesting question.
Should I go in a suit? If I'm going to go to a bank, if I'm interviewing, let's say, for a lifeguard of a swimming pool, like
go in a swimming costume.
Should I go in a swimming costume?
That's interesting.
So
I think what most companies look out for is whether we are a farm company, if you come, shabbily dressed, you're actually underestimating me.
Yeah.
I think it's just being decent and smart. Yeah. If it's a bank or a law firm, you'll automatically have to be in a suit because that's their minimum standard. Yeah. Law firm, banks, and all the other companies that I can think of that think like that, that have such a dress code. And that also comes back to you knowing the company that you're going to work for. If it's a farm or any other industry, you may not do a suit, but you have to be smart. It doesn't kill for you to do a suit if you're going to do an interview for a farm. It doesn't kill you, but the bottom line is you being decent and smart. Okay, that shows you respect the company. That shows you have high regard for the company you're coming to work for. Yeah. But it in my mind, it's just being smart. Smart and presentable. Irrespective of where you're going to work. But again, I hear you. If it's a bank, you've got to look at their minimum. Suit to be. Law firm, suit to be. If it's any other company, you may do a nice shirt and pants, or for a lady a nice dress.
Because most, a lot of that before takes you into what I'm going to ask you next, the during. My father always tells me in every interview you do, strive to get to the oral. Because you can redeem yourself, or let me say if you failed a written or whatever. So all that dress code and keeping time, because the oral is really based on first impression. So I'm just going to push you now into during the interview. What's your take and like an ideal interviewee's behavior during the interview?
I think the key thing is, one of the things we are not taught in school is confidence. Many can think they are not sure they'll get the job anyway, right? If I've prepared
they got like 80% in the written.
80% or 90% in the written interview. If I've prepared right, so my behavioral competences should come out as someone who's confident of what I'm speaking about. So the way I present myself, normally in an interview, the panel or the interviewers will ask you, tell us about yourself. That's the time to sell yourself. That's the time to come off confidence, because yes, first impressions matter. Look into the eyes of whoever you're talking to. However shy you are, look into their eyes, speak with confidence. And be yourself. I mean, as I talk personally, I'm a person who uses my hands. That's how I speak. If that's how you speak, be yourself, because that helps you to bring out the best of you. It's important to be confident, know what you're talking about. If I ask you, tell me about yourself, then sell yourself to me. Tell me about your work experience, tell me about your strengths, tell me about the skills you're bringing to the company, tell me about, in a nutshell, not so much, So you've got to balance and tell me what it is that you want me to know about. So it's about being confident. It's about how you present yourself, and not come off like someone who wants to run out or who is lying. Sometimes, by the way, many candidates lie. So one, be confident. You're there because you want that job, and you think you can actually get that job, or you can get that job. So it's about being confident. And then two, if you don't understand the question, ask. You have many people think when they ask me, immediately I should answer. And I tell many people when they're preparing for interviews, think about what you're going to say. It's very okay for you to pause. A person who pauses actually is internalizing the question.
Or they're in shock. They're just in shock at the question.
Sometimes, Pause, think through, and then talk. Okay, and if something isn't clear, ask. And then, ask, is this what you wanted? Is this, let me get you right. Are you asking for this, especially if a question isn't clear? Because many times it isn't sometimes.
So it's not okay to say pass. Because you've seen people in interviews who just say pass. Like they've thought, they've internalized,
Or they say, and sometimes you're very right, sometimes they say, that has never happened to me. There's a reason as to why the question is there, right? And there's a reason as to why the question is there. You've got to answer something. Don't say it has never happened to me, and that's a 0 or 1 or whatever rating criteria the company uses. But for me, it's about confidence. It's about you being yourself. It's about you telling the truth. In most of the companies we work for, we ask questions that relate to what has happened in the past. I think it's important for a candidate to be honest, because when you tell a lie, you've got to build onto the lie, and then die in there, or suffocate in there, and it soon catches up with you. Be honest, and then what else? I think for me it comes from confidence, knowing yourself and what you want to talk about or sell yourself about, and probing.
I just want to pick up on the issue of be yourself.
Yes,
we're being taught to not really be us, because if you go on Google and look at how to be your best in interview, it tells you all sorts of things, like when they ask you what are your weaknesses. I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
Yes, right?
I'm a bit of this.
Yeah.
So how now from a company's perspective, how do you sieve out the charade? Because you see, you're interviewing me for 15 minutes.
Yes.
I can come and pretend to be something that I'm not.
Yeah.
And then I shine, and and then you employ me, and
then you're proud.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think
so. Just two questions. How, as a company, do you really sieve out the fakeness?
Yeah.
And then how would you encourage someone to really be, like, it's okay to be yourself? Because people are told, like, you express yourself like this. But then the society teaches us when you go for an interview.
And then,
So how do I be me?
And then what what the company or society might want. I think I'll start with the company. An interview can, by the way, lie.
Yeah, that's true.
It's especially an oral interview. And like you've said, someone can be trained and they'll give you the best of them, or probably they've been coached, or probably they've been mentored by an interviewer on what to say in an interview. So I think any company needs to understand that an interview can lie about someone. So what I can advise a company is do more than one assessment. An oral interview may not suffice. Because you may get a bubbly Kathy who speaks, but when it gets to work, she doesn't work. Or you get a sweet Kathy who speaks, but when she gets to work, she suppresses people. A person who's good comes out, especially if you're using competence-based interviewing. You're getting someone's past experience and they're relaying it. You will be able to pick how someone is. If someone is a controller of people, it will come out in the interview. The way they do what they did, it will come out. So prompting in an interview helps. And then for a company, again, ask relevant questions. Ask if it is decision making, then tag your questions around something that has to do with decision making. So the type of question matters, the probing matters, and then watch the body language of the person. Right? That will give you a lot. And then, like I mentioned at the beginning, it's very important for you to use more than one assessment. Use written, use practical, use oral. Use an assessment where someone has to write, what they would do if this happened or what they did. Surely, you can't get in the wrong person with, a mixture of, assessments.
Just a last question about during the interview. I'll take you back to your horrible experience.
Yes.
What do you do when you've prepared yourself, you're really being yourself, and then the interviewers are just crap, like they're stressing you. How do you contain yourself and
I think it's they call it remaining on top even when things are not going well. Remain calm. It's very easy because in most cases they're actually testing your emotional intelligence. Sometimes it may be a trick of the interviewers. Never know. It may be their trick to interrupt you and see. Probably they are trying to test to test your resilience. Remain calm. Remain focused. Continue. Look at them. Ask where you haven't understood. Respond to the questions. Probe where you think you haven't understood the question. You just have to remain calm. And then remain focused. And objective. Understand and tell yourself, I'm here to get this job, irrespective of what happens to me. And then maybe for the candidate, in terms of what do you need to do? If I remember the question you said, how do I make sure I understand, I think, and I do that interview well? For me, it's about probing where you haven't understood. Ask and say, have I answered to the best of my, have I satisfied you? Have I answered your question? and then if they say yes,
then you continue.
You continue. Yeah.
Okay, Kathy, conclusively, normally at the end of these bulletins, I would like to hear your 2 cents on the topic we've been speaking on. So in this case, interviews, what are your 2 cents? Maybe just to give you a channel what to speak about after the interview. The waiting, because you might get the job, you might not get the job. So to people who are watching this, what are your 2 cents on the whole interview thing, before, during, after?
I think for me, my 2 cents would be 1, prepare for the interview. Takes account of whatever I talked about in the beginning. Prepare. 2, sell yourself in the interview. Do whatever it takes to sell yourself. Remember, you're probably 10 people. Sell yourself. Sell yourself. Again, I talked about it. Work experience. You and your personal attributes and competences. Sell yourself, and then 3, end the interview well. Sometimes they ask candidates, do you have any question? And then someone says nothing. Or how much money are you going to give me? The before, the during, and the after really matters. Prepare. 1, 2, sell yourself to the panel. Walk out of the you want the job. Sell yourself, and then 3, end the interview well. And after the interview, they will call you to give you feedback. If you've gotten the job, bingo. If you haven't gotten the job, I think it's important for you to find out what exactly didn't I do right. Many times I call candidates and say, you didn't do well, and thank you. I mean, I'd want to know where did I go wrong, so that the next interview I prepare better, or I do better.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Such wonderful insights there. I hope we have helped someone. I hope for the next interview you're going to be the ace of everything. To the rest of you, remember that you're the CEO of you. See you.